Have you ever thought about investing in property? You kept putting it aside because you've been told you need lots of money to start investing. Perhaps you've been told you need 50,000. Maybe you've been told you need 100,000. Probably you've been told you need over 150,000 pounds. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to build a solid property investment portfolio. How to start with £0 to building a £500,000 property portfolio that will generate you £18,000. So let's get to it. Basically, if you've ever thought you needed money to start, if you haven't got money to start your investment portfolio, what I suggest you do basically is to look at a strategy that we call deal sourcing. So what is deal sourcing? Deal sourcing is the process by which an investor would go out there, look for property deals, right? View them, negotiate them, agree on price, and sell that information to an investor who hasn't got time to negotiate or bargain in getting these sort of deals. So you can then sell this information on to people that are interested in buying. You may be thinking this is crazy, but it happens in the property investment world. i.e., you become the middleman. You look for the buyer and you look for the seller. You put them together, you get your commission, and you work away from it. So if you haven't got money, maybe you want to start doing that. And again, it doesn't require you lots of hours to do, by the way. It will need a couple of hours or so a day just to do your due diligence search and learn about how you can secure these deals. Let's suppose you know that now. You've literally educated yourself. You know how to execute or how to do deal sourcing. Let's now assume worst case scenario, you're only closing 3 deals per month, not 5, 6 deals. We're only saying about 3 deals a month. And worst case scenario, so each deal, maybe you're making about £3,000. Again, this is just reserve figures. People are charging 4,000, 5,000. I've seen someone charging £10,000 per source deal. So in this example, we're just going to do £3,000 per deal. Suppose now you know what you're doing, right? In the first 6 months, we're going to concentrate in sourcing deals because obviously we haven't got money to start with, okay? We're going to start sourcing deals. Let's suppose we source 3 deals per month. And in the 6 months, right, we've got 6 months here, deals, and we're selling, we're getting 3 deals per month. That then gives us 18 deals per month. So with those 18 deals, with £0 investment, okay, and you've got these 3 deals per month, those 3 deals will generate you £9,000 per month. Meaning we haven't got any money to start with, but because we started sourcing deals, we're immediately starting to make £9,000 per month. So we continue doing that. We do it month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, and month 6. When it comes to month 6, if you times that £9,000 with the 18 deals we would have acquired, at that time, we would have made £54,000 in the first 6 months of our investment. You may be thinking this is unrealistic. It is absolutely realistic if you're sourcing deals every single month. If you made this your passion and your mission to acquire deals. So you make that £54,000. So once you've got that £54,000, hopefully because you're sourcing deals, you know now a lot about the property market. So what you now do whilst you're sourcing, then you can then go and source yourself something that we call rent-to-rent. Rent-to-rent deals are deals that you can source from landlords. In other words, the process by which an investor would secure a property, rent it in a long-term basis, and guarantee the landlord the rent. Now you know how to source deals. Suppose then you source yourself 3 deals in month 7. In month 7, you source those 3 deals. Suppose those deals maybe to set the property up, do all the stuff that you suppose. Let's say it costs you about £5,000. And this rent-to-rent deal is a property that you've sourced and you're renting room by room basis. Okay, you're not kind of doing anything to renting it to a family. You are renting it room by room basis. Suppose that we invest that £15,000 now, because we now know we have £54,000 here. So out of that £54,000, we can afford to spend £15,000 to set our HMO properties up, the rent-to-rent HMO deals. Suppose then each of those deals generates you about a net profit of £700 per calendar month. So £700 per calendar month will generate you £2,100 per month for those 3 properties. So that then means you are on £2,100 per month. If you times that by the 6 months, you are on £12,600, okay? So now again, we go again, instead of getting the rent to rent property deals, now we want to go for rent to service accommodation. Again, rent to service accommodation similar to rent to rent. The only difference is instead of renting the property room by room basis, you're going to use it as a mini boutique type hotel. We call this sort of strategy service accommodation, where you provide accommodation to holiday goers, contractors, etc., etc., and it is also called Airbnb. Let's now assume, because they are properties that require a bit of uplift, you need to paint and decorate and make it really, really nice. Suppose then we invested £18,000. Again, we know we've got £18,000 because we've already made £54,000 in our first 6 months. So we use that £18,000 to invest in getting rent to service accommodation property. So in essence, out of the £54,000 we've already made, we've invested £33,000. This £33,000 is the amount of money we've put down to pay our landlords their rent, the deposit, and then obviously to set up the properties as well. And then with this rent to service accommodation, assuming, again, worst case scenario here, each rent to service accommodation generating an average about £1,000 a month. So that, and if we got 3 service accommodation, those 3 service accommodation will generate us, guess what? If we multiply the £3,000 by 6 months, then that generates us £18,000 in the 6 months having the property running as a serviced accommodation. So now we know we're making £12,600 in our rent to HMO properties, and we're making £18,000. We've made £18,000 in our serviced accommodation property. With the £54,000 we'd generated by sourcing deals in the first 6 months, we've only used £33,000 from it, meaning we still got about £21,000 left, okay, in that pot. So what we, if you add the 21,000, 12,600 and 18,000, that then gives us 51,600 we now have in our bank account to put it in a position where we can start buying our own properties. Is this making sense? Next, now we've got £56,000. It's about time carrying on what we're doing. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing here. Because we're now exposing the market, we're now going to start looking at properties to buy, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to go and look for properties that worth £100,000, for example. We then go and negotiate on those properties and probably buy them for about £80,000. So if you buy that property at £80,000, obviously you need to put down your deposit and some other legal fees. Let's estimate that it's about £30,000. £20,000 for your deposit, and the £10,000 legal interest and all the other stuff that goes with it. And now, because we've already have enough money here, we've got the £30,000 to pay for our deposit and legal, and out of that also we have enough money to go and do the renovation works. We estimate our renovation work is £21,600. So if you add those two amounts together, that gives us our £51,600, which we've already have to invest here. Right? So what we're now going to do, we're going to renovate the property. Let's now assume we've got the money, we renovate that property quickly. We're not messing about. We renovate the property, add value to that property. Okay? Now we force that value, we've added value to that property. Assuming that we've renovated the property, we have forced the value from taking that property of being £80,000 to £150,000, meaning we have went in, renovated it, decorated the property, brought life to the property. And what would happen? We would have forced the value by using some skills and technique to push the value of the property to £150,000. Now we're at £150,000, we've done the work. So what we're going to do next is what we call remortgage at the newer value of the property. So what we would do, would approach a lender, and that lender will lend us 75% of the new value, right? 75% of the new value, that's what the lender will lend us, and they will keep the 25%, and that 25% will be your equity in the property, meaning you don't need to put any money in order to do a remortgage. So the bank will then lend you 75% of that amount, which would be £112,500. Okay, so what then would happen? This money would go to your solicitors, and your solicitors will get this money and store it in their client's account. So what they will do, they will look then if you have any loan against that property. When we bought the property at £80,000, what had happened, our first lender would have lent us 75% of the £80,000. So 75% of the £80,000 would equate to £60,000. So that £60,000 that was given by the initial lender plus our 25% would have summed up to the 80% to buy that property. Hence the reason why we need to pay this money back to our first lender. So what the solicitors would do, they will deduct that amount from the £112,000 you've got there, and they will pay the remaining balance to you. With the remaining balance is what you're going to use to pay yourself the deposit, the legal cost, and the refurbishment cost, which was £51,600, which is what that figure is. So what would have happened at that point? That money hits your account, you would have been able to pay yourself all the renovation cost, right? All the legals, all the deposit, and you have left with £900. This is what we call buy, refurbish, refinance, and recycle. You would have been able to recycle all your £51,000 that we started with the beginning. The money that we made from sourcing the properties and the income we've made from our rent to service accommodation and rent to rent property deals. So imagine then we were able to recycle our money, and we can go again do this multiple of time. Assuming that we've done this 3 times in a year, because obviously time goes fast, you would have made a property portfolio of £450,000. That would be generating you the 1,300 times the 3 houses, because you would have had 3 houses. That would have summed up to £3,900, because obviously we're clever. We're not going to be renting it to a family. We're going to be using those properties as serviced accommodation. So as service accommodation, each property is generating you £1,300. If you've got 3 of these properties, that would have been £3,900 per month. Okay, so if you add that up together now in the whole 12 months, you would have made £3,900 from your own properties, and you would have made £14,100 from the sourcing deals, from your rent to rent properties, and from your rent to service accommodation. If you add that up, that would have given you a whopping £18,000 passive income from starting zero. So if you've ever been thinking, oh, you needed lots of money, I really hope this video has actually give you an idea of knowing money wasn't the problem, or money isn't the problem, but knowing how to implement things like this is where the problem lies. This is how you could start your property investment with no money to building £500,000 property portfolio that generates you £18,000. If you'd like to learn how to implement strategies or execute something like this, there's a link on this video. Click on that link, book me a one-to-one, a free one-to-one strategy call to learn and see how I may be able to help you. I really hope this video has been helpful. If this video has been helpful, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing the next video.